This show is part of OnePlace, a daily network of focused briefings across the stories people follow most.
Welcome to our Sports Roundup. We are diving into the biggest headlines across baseball, football, and basketball to keep you informed on everything happening in the world of professional sports today.
Broadcasting legend John Sterling has passed away at 87.
Patrick Mahomes is reportedly way ahead of his rehab schedule.
The Orlando Magic are eyeing Michigan coach Dusty May.
NHL teams prepare for the Gavin McKenna draft lottery.
Joey Bosa is predicted to join his brother in San Francisco.
Stephon Diggs is linked to the Ravens in free agency.
Thunder and Spurs lead the latest NBA title odds.
Second-round NBA playoff lines show massive favorites emerging.
Starting with the Yankees. The sports world is mourning the loss of legendary Yankees broadcaster John Sterling, who passed away at the age of 87. Sterling was the voice of the Bronx Bombers for decades, known for his incredibly unique home run calls and his unmistakable charisma behind the microphone. Tributes have been pouring in from across the league, with journalists and fellow broadcasters sharing stories of a man who was truly one of a kind. Ben Glicksman of The Ringer noted that even for those who didn't know him personally, Sterling felt like a close friend because of how much of himself he poured into every broadcast. He remained unapologetically himself throughout his long career, which is why he resonated so deeply with fans. His absence leaves a massive void in the Yankees organization and the broader broadcasting community.
It really is the end of an era for baseball fans. While the community grieves, the current Yankees team is dealing with its own roster shifts. Anthony Volpe was recently demoted to AAA Scranton after struggling to meet the massive expectations placed on him since his debut. However, there is a silver lining with the emergence of Jason Dominguez, also known as El Marciano. Dominguez has been tearing it up since his recall, especially against left-handed pitching where he has posted a massive 1.172 OPS. His ability to adjust from the right side of the plate has given the Yankees a much-needed spark, while Giancarlo Stanton is on the injured list. It is a bittersweet time in New York, balancing the legacy of a legend like Sterling with the development of these young stars.
Next up, the Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs fans received some incredible news regarding their star quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. General Manager Brett Veach recently shared that Mahomes is way ahead of schedule in his recovery from ACL, and LCL tears suffered last December. This is a huge development because the typical recovery timeline for these types of injuries is 9 to 12 months, which would usually put a player's return much later in the season. However, Mahomes has been working tirelessly, and Veach mentioned that the biggest challenge now is actually protecting Mahomes from his own competitive nature. He is already pushing to be a full participant by the time training camp rolls around in St. Joseph, Missouri. The team is thrilled with the progress, but remains committed to a cautious approach to ensure his long-term health and success.
It is truly inspiring to see how quickly he is bouncing back. Veach recalled a previous instance where Mahomes returned from a dislocated knee in just 3 weeks, so this rapid pace isn't entirely surprising to those who know his work ethic. The goal for the Chiefs is to have him ready for the off-season workout program, even if it is just in a limited capacity. By managing his drive to return too quickly, the organization hopes to avoid any setbacks that could jeopardize the upcoming season. If he continues on this trajectory, the Chiefs will have their leader back on the field much sooner than anyone anticipated, after that devastating injury in Week 15. It changes the entire outlook for the AFC West if the best quarterback in the league is healthy for Week 1.
Now to the NBA. The Orlando Magic are in the market for a new head coach after firing Jamal Mosley following a historic first-round collapse. Despite holding a 3-1 series lead over the Detroit Pistons, the Magic fell apart, specifically in a Game 6 where they blew a 24-point lead. Now, the rumors are swirling that Orlando is very interested in Michigan head coach Dusty May. May just led the Wolverines to a national championship and is currently one of the hottest names in coaching. NBA insider Mark Stein reports that the Magic are genuine admirers of May and would move quickly if he were available. However, there are hurdles, as May is expected to stay at Michigan to defend his title. The allure of the NBA is always strong, but May has built something special in Ann Arbor that might be hard to leave.
It is a fascinating situation because Michigan is losing several key players to the NBA draft, meaning May would be starting fresh with a new roster anyway. If he feels he has reached the pinnacle of the college game, the timing for a jump to the pros could be perfect. Orlando isn't the only team interested, though. Openings in New Orleans, Portland, and Chicago mean the Magic will have competition if they want to land a top-tier candidate. Plus, everyone is waiting to see what Steve Kerr does in Golden State. For the Magic, the focus is on finding a leader who can prevent the kind of late-game meltdowns that ended their season. Whether that is May or someone else, the pressure is on the front office to make a splashy hire that can elevate this young roster.
Moving to hockey news. The NHL draft lottery is set for Tuesday, and the stakes couldn't be higher with Penn State phenom Gavin McKenna as the consensus number 1 pick. Teams like the Vancouver Canucks, Chicago Blackhawks, and New York Rangers are all hoping the ping-pong balls fall in their favor. The lottery system is designed so that only the bottom 11 teams have a mathematical shot at the top overall pick, as teams can only move up 10 spots. This creates a lot of tension for those teams just outside the bottom tier. We saw the New York Islanders defy the odds last year, winning the lottery despite having only a 3.5% chance. They landed defenseman Matthew Schaefer, proving that even a long shot can change the entire trajectory of a franchise. Everyone is looking for that same luck this time around.
The mechanics of the lottery are always a bit of a spectacle, with the 14 ping-pong balls and over 1,000 possible combinations. The team with the worst record, which gives them the best odds, has an 18.5% chance to secure McKenna. For the teams ranked 12 through 16, the best they can hope for is a jump into the top 6, which still provides a chance at an elite prospect even if they miss out on the top prize. The Washington Capitals currently hold the lowest odds among the non-playoff teams, but as we have seen in the past, anything can happen once those balls start spinning. Landing a player like McKenna is a franchise-altering event, and the anticipation heading into Tuesday night is palpable for fan bases that had a rough regular season and need a reason for hope.
Back to the NFL. The San Francisco 49ers are looking to bolster their defense, and a very intriguing prediction has surfaced regarding a potential family reunion. Analysts are suggesting the 49ers could sign Joey Bosa to play alongside his brother's star edge rusher, Nick Bosa. Joey spent last season with the Buffalo Bills, where he recorded 5 sacks and 47 pressures. While he might not be the elite top-tier force he was earlier in his career, he is still a highly productive veteran who could thrive as a second or third option on a defensive line. For San Francisco, health has been a major issue over the last few seasons, and adding a veteran like Joey Bosa would provide much-needed depth. It would allow the team to rotate their pass rushers more effectively, keeping everyone fresh for a deep playoff run, while creating a nightmare scenario for opposing quarterbacks.
The idea of the Bosa brothers on the same line is something fans have dreamed about for years. Joey's experience and technical skill would complement Nick's explosive power perfectly. Even if Joey is just filling a specific role, or starting to allow younger players like Michael Williams to develop, his presence would be a massive upgrade for the 49ers front seven. The team knows they can't rely solely on their current starters given their recent injury history, so bringing in a proven veteran who already has a personal connection to the locker room makes a lot of sense. It is the kind of move that doesn't just add talent, it adds a level of chemistry and motivation that is hard to find in standard free agency. If the 49ers can make the numbers work, this could be the move that solidifies their defense as the best in the league.
Staying with NFL rumors. In Baltimore, the conversation is all about getting Lamar Jackson more help on the perimeter. A new prediction suggests the Ravens could be the landing spot for veteran wide receiver Stephon Diggs. While the Ravens have solid options like Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews, they have arguably never provided Jackson with a true veteran number 1 receiver who demands a double team on every snap. Diggs, who most recently played for the Patriots after stints with the Bills and Vikings, still has plenty of juice left in the tank. He led the AFC champion Patriots in catches and yards, proving he can still be a focal point of a high-powered offense. The Ravens have a history of taking chances on older, productive veterans, and Diggs fits that mold perfectly. His arrival would give Jackson a reliable target who knows how to win in big moments.
It would be a blockbuster move for a team that is already a Super Bowl contender. Pairing Diggs with a dynamic runner like Derrick Henry and a playmaker like Zay Flowers would make the Ravens' offense nearly impossible to defend. Diggs is known for his precise route running and competitive fire, which aligns well with the culture John Harbaugh has built in Baltimore. While the Ravens did draft some young talent at receiver, they lack that established veteran presence that can mentor the youth while still producing at a high level. Diggs wants to play for a contender with an established quarterback, and there aren't many better situations than playing with a two-time MVP like Lamar Jackson. If this deal happens, it signals that the Ravens are going all in to secure a championship while Jackson is in his prime.
Checking NBA title odds. As the NBA playoffs heat up, the latest title odds from DraftKings show a clear shift toward the Western Conference. The Oklahoma City Thunder are currently the favorites at -145, followed by the San Antonio Spurs at +370. Both teams dominated their first-round matchups, with the Thunder sweeping the Suns and the Spurs losing only one game to Portland. This sets up a potential Western Conference Finals showdown between two of the most exciting young teams in the league. However, there are still questions, like the health of Anthony Edwards for the Timberwolves and whether Luka Doncic can return in time to help the Lakers against OKC. The West looks like a two-horse race right now, but injuries and unexpected returns could still flip the script as we move into the second round of action.
Over in the Eastern Conference, things are much more wide open. The New York Knicks, Cleveland Cavaliers, and Detroit Pistons are the top contenders, but none of them have looked as dominant as the top teams in the West. The Knicks were the only team in the East to avoid a 7-game series in the first round, while the Pistons and Cavs both had to fight through do-or-die games to advance. Perhaps the most surprising story is the Philadelphia 76ers, who climbed back from a 3-1 deficit to knock out the second-seeded Celtics. Despite being a 7 seed, the Sixers are showing they have the grit to compete with anyone. With the Pistons also coming back from 3-1 down against Orlando, the East has become a battle of attrition where momentum seems to shift every single night.
Finally, playoff betting lines. Looking specifically at the second-round matchups, the betting lines are revealing some massive favorites. The Oklahoma City Thunder are heavy favorites against the Los Angeles Lakers, with a money line of -1,600. This is largely due to the fact that OKC swept the regular season series, winning by an average of nearly 30 points per game. With Luka Doncic still sidelined for the Lakers, the odds of a sweep are looking increasingly likely. Meanwhile, the San Antonio Spurs are also massive favorites at -2,000 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Victor Wembanyama is back and looking dominant after a brief concussion scare in the first round. These lines suggest that the top seeds in the West are on a collision course, and it will take a monumental effort from the underdogs to even keep these series competitive as they head into Game 1.
The East offers a much tighter betting landscape. The Knicks are favored at -260 against the 76ers, but the regular season series was tied at 2 games apiece, with both teams winning twice on the other's home floor. This suggests we could be in for a long, back-and-forth series. Philadelphia is riding high after their comeback against Boston, even with Jason Tatum's injury helping them along in Game 7. The spread for Game 1 is only 5.5 points in favor of New York, which shows that odds makers expect a close contest. In the other bracket, the Pistons and Cavaliers are still waiting to see who they will face as their first-round series go to the wire. It is a tale of two conferences right now: total dominance in the West and absolute chaos in the East.
That wraps up our sports briefing for today. Be sure to follow us for your daily update on the biggest stories across the world of sports. We will see you tomorrow.